do you think, I'm assuming, LGBT community and the black church can coexist?
Absolutely.
Let me push that question.
Hello? I once had Diddy text me, "Welcome to the family," but I was raped by a platinum-selling producer who was one of his cohorts.
They showed T.D. Jakes hanging out with Puff Daddy at his party.
My lord, my
T.D.
lord.
Jakes sitting right there at Puff Daddy's party while pole dancers are jumping up and down twerking, and Bishop sitting there.
My lord.
According to rumors circulating about Bishop T.D. Jakes, he has known about these alleged tendencies for a while. As social media outlets delve into these developing events, speculation grows. In addition, concerns have been raised about Bishop Jakes' relationship to rapper Sean Combs, also known as Diddy or Puff Daddy. Diddy is currently facing legal action from Cassie Ventura, who ended their long-term relationship in 2018. Cassie is accusing Diddy of sexual assault and frequent physical abuse. Bishop Jakes has been in the news because of Cassie's claims that he attended gatherings that included same-gender online activities that Diddy hosted. The claims are made more complicated by a young man who lives in the Potter's house, claiming that he was sexually abused as a child by his former priest. In addition, there have been suggestions regarding Bishop Jakes' preference for men over women. In a recent podcast episode, a former colleague of T.D. Jakes revealed shocking details about the well-known pastor, his wife, Serita Jakes, and her 2 kids. These discoveries extended not only to him, but also to his 2 oldest sons. Serita apparently married T.D. Jakes in order to hide his homosexual lifestyle, despite being aware of his sexual orientation before they were married. This apparent non-hesitating choice demonstrates T.D. Jakes' acceptance of Serita and her kids and his treatment of them as his own. This connection seems to have resulted in Serita's steadfast devotion for more information regarding these disclosures. The particular podcast episode that I share here at the end is said to have the most stunning information.
Thing I share here, I'm not worried about being sued. And just to be sure that anyone listening understands that, I will be giving the first initial of names, okay? There are people talking who are just sharing rumors, but not all of us are sharing rumors, okay? I had a mentor from 1999 to 2000. She was my mentor. Mr. R, okay? His first name started with an R. So Mr. R used to be a boarder in her home. Now, my mentor told me Mr. R is gay, and his wife knows he's gay. Mr. R was a part of the ministerial staff. He became a minister, and he was very close to T.D. Jakes, okay? And she said he told her that, you know, he was going to share some things with her that she could never tell anybody. And so later on, she tells me and a few other people that he did come. They had set up a time and date for him to come to her house. He came and he talked with her for several hours, just divulging stuff, behind the scenes ministry stuff. And she told us some things I can never tell y'all, but what he did tell her was that T.D. Jakes was gay, and that T.D. Jakes had a relationship with a man. Now, I will stop and say, whether that man was Mr. R, I don't know, because she never told us that. But then she told us there are things I can never say, I can never tell, because I swore, that I wouldn't tell, some of the stuff that he told me. I'll tell you, as soon as they got through talking, she left that church. My mentor did, and it devastated her. Not too long after the things that Mr. R shared with her and swore her to secrecy to, she had a stroke. I always believed, and I still believe it now, that it was the stuff he told her that contributed to her having that stroke, because the timeline was just too close. The Jakes have 5 children. Boys, both their names start with a J. One is light skinned, one is dark skinned. It is true that the 2 older sons are gay. The 2 older sons are not his biologically. They're not the sons of Jakes. Now, the sons, one is darker skinned. The darker skinned son is the one who was caught in Keith's Park many years ago. Now, those 2 sons, they are not the biological children of Thomas, okay? Before, Serita was a teen mom, okay? She had both of the boys when she was a young woman. And sometime later, I don't know if it was years, I don't know the time frame of between her having and her meeting Thomas. That part of their story, I don't know. But one of the great things that made her fall in love with Thomas was that he accepted her 2 boys. And yes, he did later adopt them. So he's the man that raised them, because I don't know anything about their biological father, y'all. I don't know who he is. That's the part I can't say. My mentor told me, and I'll never forget this, there was a time when the Jakes lived near what is not White Rock Lake in Dallas. Okay, they had a home. They used to have a home over there. And she told me her friend was part of this group of people that had gone to the house. But I don't know how many sessions they had, but this was a time, as I said earlier, where people kind of saw homosexuality differently, especially in the church. And so they believed that it was an evil spirit and it could be cast out. And so she was telling me that the friend had said that they had had a few sessions at the Jakes' home where they were trying to cast the devil out of these 2 boys. And I remember, I'll never forget, she said to me, she said, and they said every time they would get to a point where they thought they were going to cast him out, Jakes would leave the room. Why? I don't know. What he was leaving the room for, I don't know. When all this stuff comes out over the next days and weeks about Thomas, T.D. Jakes, which stands for Thomas Dexter, for those who may not know, I don't want to assume everyone knows what that stands for. I want all of you to understand that Serita was a part of the cover-up. So very often when things come out about these husbands, the wives, the wives get to play innocent. People assume they're innocent, kind of like the Vanessa Long, Eddie Long situation. People assume they're innocent. The wife kind of skates off and people look at her like, "Aw," but that's never the case. It's never the case. When women like Serita go along, participate in, when I say participating, I don't mean necessarily the act, I just mean go along with the cover up and pretending that it's not what it is. That's what makes these things go on for years and years and years, because as women we have power, and when we leave a man, people know something's up. What I'm saying is, when it all comes out, I don't want anyone to be like, "Oh, poor Serita." No, it's not going to be poor Serita. People have gotten information back to Serita for years about her husband. But there came a time when certain things were getting back to her, and then he took over her email. Listen, Thomas buys Serita's clothes. He's always bought her clothes. And so you got to understand the kind of state Serita was in when she met Thomas. What would she have done if she left him? She didn't have nothing. She had nothing. She came from nothing. She was a coal miner's daughter. When I say she came from nothing, I don't mean she as a person isn't valuable. What I'm saying is she didn't come from prestige or money or anything like that. She was a poor girl who had come from upside a mountain in West Virginia. And it was because of him that, she is and has all that she does. So I don't know. I'm not trying to get into her mind and understand why she stayed, why she was okay with him having these extramarital relationships. I don't know. All I know is I'm not even sure if she would have ever had anything had it not been for him. And so maybe she felt some sort of devotion to him because of that. I don't know. And he did take her 2 sons that she had out of wedlock. Again, not a shaming statement. I'm just saying that because that's the phrase we used to use. And he raised them. I won't be shocked by anything that comes out, but I do know a lot of people are. And I just hope that they don't put it in the lap of God. God doesn't have anything to do with these folks' messes and schemes and sleeping around and whoremongering. He has nothing to do with it. You have to understand, it wasn't God allowing, it was us allowing. These rumors have been out for years. How come the church never held him accountable? Maybe he would have sat down years ago.
For years, there have been rumors about this. Why wasn't the church holding them responsible? Perhaps years ago, he might have taken a seat. In the midst of circulating rumors on social media that branded Bishop T.D. Jakes as a power bottom, his wife steadfastly stood by him in the face of allegations of a Hollywood scandal. She emphasized Jakes' declaration of 2024 as the year of prosperity and cleansing, and she took to social media to suggest that challenges are part of God's plan to strengthen them. Jakes' name went viral online. He adamantly refuted the accusations in a YouTube church service, vowing to address them when the time was right and declining to use the holy pulpit to confront lies. In a statement, a representative at Jake's declared the allegations to be categorically untrue and unfounded, highlighting the difficulty of disseminating the truth in the face of lies. In the meantime, P. Diddy was accused of sexual assault, including drugging and abusing a college student in 1991. Aaron Hall was also accused of similar acts, and a 17-year-old was accused of being a sexual slave. Revolt Network chairman, he resigned, fiercely disputing all charges and promising to stand up for the truth, his family, and his reputation. Social media users had a range of views, with some criticizing the accusations and others demanding responsibility. Despite the flurry of rumors and intense scrutiny on social media, both celebrities maintained their integrity and remained firm in the face of these scandals, refuting the accusations and reaffirming their devotion to the truth. This seems familiar because not too long ago, we dealt with R. Kelly exhibiting the same behavior. He claimed to be completely innocent, but he was ultimately found guilty, so like most people, let's just wait and see what happens. I sincerely hope that this is untrue. Another user said, "As a pastor, I say that we become dirty when we spend time with dirt. The church used to support scriptural instruction and advice. Distinct ways of living bishops should demand a public statement from Diddy because we are accountable to each other and protect the gospel with our lifestyle." Diddy has never attended a church, but he has been spotted at his house and at several parties where many of the attendees are infants and confused about what their convictions should be. They need to be held accountable for what you want. He says, "I know who I am." The problem is that the blood of the innocent needs not be tarnished in this way. This brings shame and dishonor to the church's name. "I'm just going to wait and watch for the receipts," said another user. Everything in the bucket always rises to the top of the well. According to the podcast testimony, Jake Harbor's secrets and revelations will soon start to surface gradually. I pray that the video was enjoyable to you, and let's work to please God. I pray that the video was enjoyable to you, and let's work to please God. Remember to hit the notification bell, like, and subscribe to receive information on new videos.